got to turn to weight before your therapy.
Yeah.
What did you name, by the way, with that therapy you led with?
That was smallpox because I forgot about sinkhole, but
Fair enough. I mean,
lands are really important.
yeah. Look, anyway, we're going into the next round of the semis. That was Dylan. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Best of luck. I believe that places you in the top 4, though. You definitely get something.
I get a fair bit.
A fair bit?
So it's enough.
He gets enough.
I get enough.
He's a man who's easily satisfied. So I've got Jacob coming back to join me in the commentary box now, and we'll go to the semi-finals, which is Lewis O'Fallon Bant against Jim Wilkes on counterbalance.
Jim to play.
So this is Shane Swoboda and now Jacob Dunn in the commentary box. So
Yeah.
Good Games, Canberra.
Brad's been super great letting us use the store.
Yeah, and
Sneak and Show's been great that they came down to film this for us.
Exactly. Props to Sneak and Show. Props to Brad at Good Games. Been good times all around.
Props for Fry for judging.
Yeah. So who do you think's favoured in this matchup, Jacob?
I
think we got Jim on the play.
Jim's on the play, so I think that's actually going to get Jim there. Like the True Name Nemesis, he doesn't have difficulty dealing with Terminus. I don't think it's actually an issue for him. I think it's definitely Jim.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the... Just depends how the Jim Wilkes experience draws, I suppose. And we all know that man draws like a god. He is Magic Jesus. You think you kill him and then he comes back again. I suppose it's a Strangleroot Geist, really, isn't he? Or a Kitchen Finks.
I'm sure that, like, Amakeus, like, there's going to be a big, large creature that undies or persists that is more obnoxious, or something that does a good thing. I don't know, Murderous Redcap?
Nether Spirit.
Nether Spirit never goes away. Okay, I could have Born of Ash.
Were you watching the Yellowing game?
I saw the tail end of it.
Yeah, some unfortunate misplays there by Dylan.
Yeah.
Then he got a paddling, unfortunately for him.
I noted the Mishra's factories just not being pumped for the...
Well, he had an option to, like, he knew the guy was on Nether Void.
Yeah.
And he had an option to get a recruiter in hand in therapy up the Nether Void, and he didn't take it.
Yeah.
Also pitched Dreamstalker.
Instead of Cavern Harpy to force?
Yeah, and then realised when it came to forcing something. Anyway, we've got an island from Jim, no top.
Yeah, that's alright.
So Lewis is probably happy. I hate top. I always force that card.
I always force that card? Is it because your opponent takes longer because of it?
Well, on Moto, you let it resolve and let him durdle to time. But I mean, like, I just hate giving a counterbalance player top. We've got a Daze here. That's
no, we're going to brainstorm to get one, though, I think.
Yeah,
we're cracking a fetch and response.
Brainstorm here and then just try and stick a Stoneforge if the
No, brainstorm
sticks.
for the Daze or the Force.
Of course, but I mean, like, next turn, if the counterbalance resolves, and I reckon Jim might have a Force here because he wouldn't lead it into... I don't think he'd lead it into Daze.
Yeah, he's way too conservative.
Without a second counterbalance or a Force in hand. So then you've just got to stick the blind Stoneforge and hope.
Yeah, that's the thing, that if you're looking to get Jim, force him to make decisions in which he's going to have to choose between playing conservatively and taking a risk, and he's always going to play conservatively. And that's the way to get Jim.
I'd like to see Jim play Storm. He'd be terrible.
He is. I've seen him play other decks. I think I've seen him play combat.
I could add Nauseam on 20 life, but I just don't think I'm quite there yet.
Yeah, no, I need to find some ability to gain life. Maybe my opponent will give me life with Grove.
Counterbalance resolves. So we're going to just go for the blind Stoneforge and the blind flip, which of course will be a counterspell. Bam! Oh, it resolves!
Stoneforge into... I'm guessing he's going to go... He's thinking here. So he's got the Jit. Oh, no. Okay, not resolving. Force, pitch, force. That's a bit rough.
I don't know. Like, I wouldn't even bother there. I mean, if Lewis gets a Batterskull, I mean, who cares?
If he plays the top this turn, it's potentially the Jit, because Jit on True Name is a bit more difficult to deal with. It gets there very quickly.
I just feel like Jim's got so many answers. I mean, this feels exceptionally bad for Lewis.
Hello? No one.
Jacob's just, of course, talking to himself.
The phone was ringing.
No, it wasn't.
Let the coverage show.
What are you talking about? Crazy person. Disrespect.
How do you respect the counterbalance? Just don't cast spells? Go, oh no.
No, you don't bother casting 1-drops into a counterbalance, even without a top. They're just not resolving.
No, you have to cast spells. It's exactly the same as the burn when you were talking about it with Lockie. You have to throw the things at the table and hope they stick.
Oh, I guess it's different. Yeah, it looks like it was just testing the waters for a Stoneforge anyway. So we're going to try and stick a Stoneforge now. Jim, of course, will brainstorm a counterspell back on top of his library.
Yeah, just to
because of the Jim Wilkes experience. Let's
Pick up
watch.
the
Oh, here we go. Who's going to do it? Oh. Come on, come on. Come on, do it.
He's thinking about cracking the fetch line, though. That's what he wants.
Yeah.
So he's going to let it resolve.
I don't think there's anything wrong with cracking a fetch land here. I mean, if you've got a brainstorm, you brainstorm now anyway and crack the fetch. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Does he really need the card on top? Which is a brainstorm? Like, does he really feel like he needs that brainstorm now? I mean, later, next turn, like, I would just crack the fetch now. It doesn't.
He's waiting to see if Batterskull comes and swords the Stoneforge.
Yeah, and that puts Lewis 2 turns off casting Batterskull,
Yeah, so
which gives Jim heaps of time to deal with it.
Hence, brainstorming and countering it is irrelevant because then the Batterskull has to be hardcast and it's dealt with as a threat because it's very easy to deal with at that point. It can be countered. We've got the lone Jace in hand, I think, for Lewis. Brainstorm. So he's got the Terminus. And he can put that back on top to just wreck him next turn. Has he got the top? That's the real question. I'd love to see a Brainstorm Terminus next turn, actually. Just the first card you draw, put the others back.
It'd be pretty funny.
I just enjoy them when you brainstorm and get the miracle, because you have to reveal the first one. He wants to crack that first land, though. Give us a peek, Jim.
If someone could get Jim to show us his hand, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, just...
Because obviously counterbalance works a lot off the top of the library, so any opportunity where we can actually see the full selection of cards he's dealing with would be
might go
good.
Just...
I definitely see a Terminus.
There's 2 Terminuses from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Jim. Need to see the hand.
Jacob's got one of his minions now.
Oh no, we still didn't.
Nah, Jim's like, no, I don't want him to know. Jim's worried we'll mess with his groove or something, I think. Maybe he's worried that Lewis has got like a little Morse code tapper on his knee and we're going to...
Oh, yeah, we're going to let him know?
Yeah.
No, I think he's worried that he might just spill his hand and show Lewis too much.
Yeah.
That's not very good. I'm trying to think if there's any reason to bait Dazes.
It's largely irrelevant. I mean...
So you force the Stoneforge here, potentially. Crack. And you can do it in response and lose your Batterskull, or you can not do it and lose your Batterskull. Trigger Terminus. Crack fetch land. Pay white. Then it's on the stack. And
yes, I can. It's a miracle happening, and I can fetch.
I can choose to pay for it.
Yeah. Lewis is clearly saying, "No, you cannot. I don't want you to."
That's not how the trigger works. Yeah. Is there a plateau in Jim's list?
Don't think so. There shouldn't be.
No. So Tundra. Miracle Trigger. I am going to cast it. It's going on the bottom.
Bye.
Not sure. Does he have another creature in hand? He's got the Jace, the Batterskull. So next time we're going to see a Jace.
Jace is a bit nasty. Oh, let's see how well Jim's attacked his library. Oh, that's an ugly Jace.
Oh, that's not very good. Also lets him know whether to Fate Seal or not. That was interesting. What's Jim got as far as 4 drops go?
Jace.
4 of them. Yep.
That's pretty funny though, counting your Jace with a Jace flip. Jace.
Yeah, High Chaos Jace after it. So the Fate Seal happened and the top went away?
Yep.
Yep. Jim didn't crack. Keeping up for the brainstorm effects. So to me that would read that you have a brainstorm in hand.
Well, maybe he's just very conservative with it. I mean, counterbalance players generally are.
Yeah.
If you figure out what the top card of your library is and it's not good enough, you can just fetch it away and try again.
Yeah.
So you always really keep your fetch lanes open.
So
Jace is just so bad for Jim. I mean, we've got
can we see that's a counterbalance, the second counterbalance.
We've got the one of
which you leave on top.
We've got the one of Council's Judgment, which helps Jim here, and he can also wheel into and entreat the angels and just go over the top. Otherwise, the Jace effect is not going to, or a click, I suppose, could do a bit of work. But you know, Lewis has got a Caracas.
The Caracas click is not bad for Lewis. It bounces the click and it lets Jim play around with both their hands.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that's my point. But like at the same time, it means he can't attack the Jace. I mean, the only way he really wins here is by going over the top with an entreat the angels
or resolving a Council's Judgment.
And I
So
think
we've got Batterskull coming down, so he's going to respond by cracking a fetch line because there's no way he would have cast into it. Does he have a 5-drop? No, not that I can see. Force. You can flip Force.
Yeah.
Which is a bad draw for him at this stage in the game. So potentially deal with the Batterskull and draw Paulie next turn. Flipping a Terminus is alright, because you know what's happening then. Flipping Council's Judgment is interesting, because then he has to make the choice whether to deal with the Batterskull or the Jace. And it's definitely the Jace.
Yeah, always the Jace. He's got so many other answers to the Batterskull.
Yeah. And he's got 2 cards in hand?
It looks like. He's not sharing them with us, though.
No.
No, sir! Oh, that's useful.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. We're not missing the Batterskull trigger, guys. Come on. Okay, there we go. No, we're just getting a gem token. What's that? That's a Flood Strand? Yep.
I feel like we're going to have a faster level of play here, guys. This matchup is a bit like watching paint dry.
Yep.
Yes, Lewis, you can attack. Doesn't matter. Whatever he has, the fact that you're attacking doesn't make a difference.
It's, yeah.
I like that Lewis is fate sealing. A lot of players in this position get really greedy and just start brainstorming.
Terminus going away.
And I particularly like it when in Vintage, you know, when someone casts a Jace and they brainstorm against Grixis, and you're thinking, what are you doing? You just cast a 4 to cast Brainstorm. Congratulations.
So would you have Fate Seal before or after? Because I was thinking Fate Sealing before was ideal, so that he doesn't have the ability to brainstorm into Terminus mid-combat.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's fine. That's probably the better way to do things. I don't think it makes a huge difference, but it's better.
Yeah.
It's a shame that Jace doesn't kill Jace anymore.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me flavor-wise. We both have Jace's best buddies. We're bouncing this germ token. No, we're brainstorming. Oh dear.
Get the Council's Judgment.
The Jace is dead then. You've lost a Jace.
Oh well. You've got 3 more.
I'd bounce the token so you don't die to it. And then...
He's got 3 turns before the Jace kills him. He needs to find something soon.
The whole idea of holding until the last minute is better. He can replay the Batterskull every turn, it won't matter. That is a Dryad Arbor on the table.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, that's different. That means that he can just equip the Batterskull. Okay, that's relevant.
Yeah, it's not the sneaky Avison Restored Forest.
No, but it is the sneaky Dryad Arbor.
Yeah. Looks like he's got an Entreat. Entreat does make this interesting.
He needs to go land, Terminus, Council's Judgment.
No, remember, Entreat can still go over the top here. Entreat is good enough.
No, it's not. He's on 21 life with the Batterskull. He can't Entreat for enough to kill him.
Yeah, but what Entreat does is it slows the game down.
Oh, because of the Jace.
And he can start threatening the Jace. You know, like, he gets options. I mean, the longer this game lasts, if Jim can get control of that Jace, I wonder if he next leveled us and put like a good but not really good card on top with the Entreat the Angels on the bottom as a second top card for when he Fate Seals, because that'll be pretty funny if he next levels him into a Miracle to Entreat the Angels. It'll be a big play.
Yeah.
So what's that?
Council's Judgment, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
So he's putting Council's Judgment to the bottom to try and go for the Entreat.
Okay. Yeah.
Here we go. Have you called it?
I think I have.
Yes! That was it. That was a good call.
Oh, Jim, that's an excellent play. That really is. Yeah. Like, why would you think that he would be stupid enough
to put the Council's Judgment back on top?
Yeah, look, Jim is a good player. You've got to give him some respect. Yeah. You can't immediately bottom it.
No, but the point is you have to put the Council's Judgment on the bottom. It loses you your threat otherwise.
Just the Jace. You still have the Batterskull. I suppose.
And the Entreat is still coming. I suppose
the Entreat is still coming. Yeah.
It was a really good play by Jim.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Shit.
Super strong.
Oh, what an Iron Man. I mean, this is
and he's not even going all out. He's just going for 2. That's something I don't think I would do, because Jace can bounce one and a sword kills one. Yeah, I'd go the full 3. I don't know why we've got 1 happening here.
Oh, well, Jim's probably somehow put Council's Judgment back on top of his library and wants to
somehow
Jace bounce.
Yeah, somehow. Jim's only got... Has he got 1 main?
It's just the 1.
1 main and 1
Oh, dear, we've got a whoopsies.
Jim.
Fantastic play, but very poor hand-eye coordination.
It's awesome. Fantastic play. He knocks it over and they have to shuffle again.
I think he just finished shuffling, so it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, he did correct the fetch slam. None of the cards are known in order. Okay, we've sorted it out. They're shuffling again. Jim's going to have the Council's Judgment off the top of his deck.
Yep.
So I'm really curious here. So I think he's leaving open Brainstorm with the Tundra, which is an interesting play given Wasteland.
It's
instead of the
it's
island?
to defend with the counterbalance against
sure,
something.
But you can leave the island. Oh, I guess you can also leave swords open. It leaves you the most options.
Yeah,
just leaves you the most vulnerable to Wasteland.
Maybe he's got a force.
Brainstorm, the counterbalance, force. There's a lot of things he can do.
I mean, what's he hoping? That he blocks the Batterskull, Lewis bounces it, recasts it, and then he can Brainstorm back a force?
Jim won't block, because if he blocks...
I know he won't block, but, like, yeah, I'm just trying to think of the lines here, you know what I mean? Like, I don't mind getting 3 Angels here. I think 3 Angels would have been better.
So we're green something, I think, for 1.
So let's see what's on the top.
Noble Hierarch.
Just to make the Batterskull harder to block. I don't think Jim really cares if he's not going to block, but he might as well flip the top card here.
So it's for 2. He has the potential to Brainstorm back that counterspell that we saw earlier. I'm guessing if he's got the Brainstorm in hand.
Yeah, which would be the only thing here. I might have a Spell Pierce, but I mean, like, Spell Pierce does nothing here, so I don't know why you'd keep the blue open for Pierce. It's just so the Batterskull trundles over the Angels.
Yeah.
But I mean, the purpose of the Angels here is just to get rid of that Jace, and then worry about the Batterskull later.
Well, the Jace is only going to lose 6 counters this way, so it'll still be 5 and at a reasonable threat. And
Yeah.
the council judgment isn't going anywhere, and the Batterskull is
So
still going to be on the
if
table.
Jim
It's really
if-
bad for
if-
Jim still.
Yeah.
So tax. We've got 5
He should have made that third angel. I don't know what the game plan here was.
to not make the third angel.
Yeah, I think that was a mistake.
Potentially brainstorm back to counter the swords or something. Like he might not have the force, and he needed the counterbalance open to make sure he didn't lose all his angels. But I think making the extra angel means that you don't lose them.
Yeah, I mean, Lewis has got explosives, but it's board. You wouldn't board him to get his counterbalance anyway.
So we are bouncing an angel. Here we go.
Yeah.
End of turn. Are we brainstorming? The answer is probably no, but let's see if Jim does it. Good. Leaving it open. Did he just... No, yeah, he drew.
The swords, I think.
Yeah.
It's a white card. So what's Lewis's play? After this, I guess he bounces the angel with Jace, bashes in again for 5, putting Jim to 1. We got a Terminus, do we? No, he hasn't stacked his deck. We're just debating.
He's got the
about what
brainstorm in
top
hand.
resolves.
Remember he...
I mean, he picked up the top though for some reason, like he was going to crack it back.
Oh, because he was casting it, seeing if it resolved.
Okay. So yeah, Lewis bounces the angel.
So he had 2 Terminuses in hand. He has the ability to brainstorm it back now. And
the question is, what has he got? How does he do with Batterskull? I mean, he's just got again. It's just all down to the singleton.
okay, here we go. We've got a force. What's forcing?
Council's judgment.
No. Are we forcing the top?
I think we're forcing the top.
Hardcast forcing the top.
Yeah,
Hardcast forcing the top. Yeah, cool.
that's fine. It's not resolving anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like what he's going to try and do is force Lewis to bounce the Batterskull and then counter it with a force on top of the library. I guess that's the plan. Jay's back down to 5. Jim's bought himself a lot of turns.
Jim's got the swords.
I still do not see the benefit though in not making that third angel. Because Jay, if he did make the third angel, Jace would be on.
It goes to 1.
2 now. The other risk is if Lewis can Green Sun Zenith another exalted creature, Jim would die.
Jim's got the swords.
Oh, he's got the swords. Yeah, of course. We saw him draw the swords. I'm just saying.
It would be great to know what's in Jim's hand.
Yeah, like he should have made that third angel. Jace would at least be on 2 now, going to 1 and then dead.
Yeah.
Maybe he's planning on sticking another Jace.
I don't think it's going to help. He needs the tournament. He needs to wipe the field, or so we have the Batterskull coming in. He's got to decide whether to swords or to go for the Terminus, or both. And both is a heavy risk because he's got a card in hand, and if it's a counter spell, it's bad for him. It also can't be a daze. Like if it's a daze, yeah. So it's
Playing
gone.
conservatively.
It's going to 1,000,000 life. Verse 6.
Lewis
Lewis has definitely got the upper hand, but oh god!
I don't know. The Jace goes to 5 to bounce the angel. Jim's got a lot more control over his library now.
No,
Fate Sealing is not relevant, so Lewis
but he
might
just
start
equips the Noble
brainstorming.
Hierarch or the Dryad Arbor and attacks with the Batterskull again and kills. He doesn't need to bounce and replay it.
He needs to get rid of the Dryad Arbor as well. He needs a Terminus.
Yeah.
We won't do that in response to the activation. I mean, durdling around here is not really an option.
It's a ponder. Okay, that's what it is. Looks like the art from that 1/5 from Judgment that exiles things.
What a call, though, on the Council's
Yeah.
judgment through the Angel's stack.
I'm still not sure, like...
You don't think it was correct? You should have thought he should have done it the other way around?
No, I've kept the Council's Judgment just because you can use it. Like, he can still stack the Entreat the Angels, and he gets to leave the card on top, so he'll draw whatever, but he still gets to then use the Council's Judgment, and then the Entreat.
You've got a top. Oh, God, I want to see his tops.
Because then we get to see his decisions.
Yeah, like, I would very much like to see the man's decisions. Hopefully we've got someone listening in who
That can
tell us that we
knock
really
him out
want to
briefly
understand
and
what
just pick up his cards.
Jim's decisions are here.
Yeah.
Because,
We can see the top. That'd be great. We can just show it to the camera. We can ask Lewis to turn around if you want.
Yeah.
No, it's all right. Oh, okay.
Yeah, someone's saying show. No.
No.
It's just like, not today. Not today. You don't get to see the Jim Wilkes experience.
We don't get to judge him, I think, is where it's going with this.
Yeah.
Why are there 3 Mox Diamonds in here?
They're Wordsmith. For the high tide stuff I gave him.
Yeah.
You still owe me some dollars, Wordsmith, so better
I
fix
don't
it
think
up.
he's watching. There we go. We've got a brainstorm with an entreat, an island, and... Oh, God.
Second intrigue. That's spicy.
So he's still got the Jace that's potentially going to Fate Seal, but he can crack the top back for the entreat here, which is actually really good.
Yeah.
If he has the extra land... Yes, there we go. The entreat for 3 off the top will be strong. Oh,
Why do you hate angels? What are you doing?
Maybe he feels like 2 is enough. He can just double block the Batterskull and have 1 be bounced. Then I'll have just clicks as win cons. God, that's bad. No, I have Jace.
Oh, why do you hate magic, Jim?
No, Jim hates... he figures Lewis has to go at about 6, so he can just wait him out.
I don't even, mate.
An hour and 15 minutes away. Well, we can ask him afterwards when he loses.
Maybe the thinking is if Lewis has a swords, right? Jim cracks back the top for entreat and double blocks. Well, he just triple blocks. You know, if he don't cast the top, triple block it, and even if he has a sword, it's not relevant.
I think he just wants to have the top in play. What always? So he doesn't have to draw and play the second one. Spin top.
What?
We got a Terminus as well. Okay, I presume there's a Terminus there as well. It was a card we hadn't seen.
Yeah.
Crack top.
Entreat for 1.
Oh, why?
What is wrong with Jim?
Also, he should have pondered
Jim.
before combat. Lewis.
Jim.
What's going on?
What is going on, buddy?
What's the 1-cost spell he's scared of?
Swords, but like...
No, what's the 1-cost spell he's scared of that he needed the...
Oh, there's nothing. Like, what's he afraid of? Like, he might... I don't understand that top there. Like, why did he actually top, as in look at the top 3, when he knew it was an entreat, when he knew it was what he needed?
Because he could go for the Terminus? Like, it was greed?
But, like, he should have just cracked back and made 2. Like, it makes no sense, that play. Absolutely no. Unless the third card was Council's Judgment or something.
There we go. There's a
Yeah,
Terminus.
but like, I still don't understand why you don't... Anyway. Jim's made some solid
He's cracked
plays
his
this
first time to
game.
go get the Dried Arbor again for the
And
win.
I guess
There we go.
I guess the problem is we don't have full information, but you know that's pretty bad for Jim right there, for good old Jimothy. I mean, he's just dead.
Yep.
And I feel like that was a punted game. Like, he played quite well, but the way he handled those entreats just wasn't good enough. He needed to make them bigger. I mean, no, you can't cast Terminus from your graveyard.
Okay, game 2. What have we got for them to board in? So Jim's probably going to go with the Batterskull plan and a Wear Tear and Humility.
I don't know.
Pyroblast. There's a lot of stuff he can bring in there. If he knows Lewis's mana base from watching, he could bring in the Blood Moons because
he might bring in the Moons. Lewis has got a really weak mana base to Blood Moon.
2 basics.
Oh god.
Yeah. 1. So he could bring in the Wear Tear for the things. Okay, what we've got Lewis. We can see what him.
Right,
there we go. We understand. Okay. So Jim put the Terminus on the wrong place with the top. And cracked back for the Terminus, but got the Entreat.
Oh, what a rude surprise.
Yeah. So he meant to Terminus and put the Entreat back and entreated.
Oh, so he basically had the game set up.
Yeah, but
Terminus into Entreat, but
for the rest.
He misclicked. Bloody Moto. Magic Online, right?
Yeah.
It's the interface. It's just so shocking.
We'd know that if we watched Jim top. Jim should show us the cards that he tops with.
Yeah, Jacob, you just duck out and
To tell him.
say it again, because, like, seriously, for coverage's purposes, we need to know what's on top of his library.
We can't ask him during the match. That's why. We can't actually ask him because it's an interference. But now, like, so asking him now.
Okay.
Yeah, so they couldn't ask us for him. Okay.
So that's all set. We'll have a bit more information.
Yeah.
That was bad. Jim played really well, but he managed to
misstack his
top with Entreat on top instead of a Terminus, and then he got a rude surprise when he went to top.
Yeah. That's why there was an Entreat for one. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense all of a sudden.
It does. It's nice to have full information, isn't it?
Yeah. The other thing, the Entreat minus one, we'll get to ask him at the end. If he wins this or if he loses this, we'll ask him why he didn't entreat for the 3 angels. If there was something he was scared of or whatnot. I don't think there's much that's going to stop you, because the sword's there only serves to gain your life.
I mean, I saw, by the way, in board, I saw Lewis had a Sylvan Library. That's pretty good in this matchup.
Sylvan Library, yep. He's also got Engineered Explosives.
Yeah, you bring in EE, I guess.
Because you can cast it for an amount that isn't equal. So you can cast it for 3 and then
Throne
it for 2.
is just a terrible board card, but you probably bring it in. I mean, this isn't Highlander. You're not getting there with 4 to cast 4/4s. When your other guy's playing Terminus.
You can bring in Teague, which will be interesting, because
Teague is good.
Yeah. It doesn't do anything against the counterbalance on the top and things, or the swords, but it stops
Terminus.
all of the unfair cards that the counterbalance deck has.
1 to cast Instant Speed Wrath is not nice.
Yeah.
Leyliner's Sanctity. I think that's a lazy board card.
Why? Oh, just in general. Yeah, it is. I'm just curious why. I thought you were going to say you needed to bring it in. So, Humility is in both Lewis's and Jim's board.
Yeah.
But it's definitely... I don't understand really why it's in Lewis's.
No, it's show and tell hate. It's also to stuff around with creatures that have activated abilities. So you might bring it in against elves, and then using that logic, you stop their activated abilities, and then you go over the top with a Batter Skull on one of your guys.
Okay, yep.
I don't like it, but the Blade decks play it as a one-off in board. I just think it's suboptimal. Like, I've had decks humility me when I'm on Alarin, and I just get there over the top because the Blade,
you have lots of guys.
Lots of guys. The Blade decks don't run many creatures, and they can slam an Alarin and be like, "What? A Batter Skull?" And
if they don't have the Batter Skull, you've just got guys and guys and guys.
And you kill them, and it's not great. I mean,
that's the whole idea of attacking with
a lot of these decks are net decks, and I just don't think they understand the individual card choices in the board. I mean, I'm sure Jim does. Jim's
tested
Jim Wilk experience.
He's been playing this deck throughout the entire league. I don't actually know what Lewis has been playing and whether or not this is the deck he's been playing.
He's been playing this.
He's been playing this throughout the entire league? Okay.
He probably still doesn't know what humility's in there for, though.
Okay, so we've got Force Jit Hierarch. We're coming down with a turn 1 Hierarch. Into a turn 2 Jit. We've got the Force for the counterbalance.
Jim possibly playing around days, or playing blind without a counterbalance. I don't know. We've got a True Name maybe coming up here. Or a Stoneforge Mystic, one of the two. Tundra. It's a Stoneforge. Party time with Stoneforge Mystic.
Or play the Jit, so the next turn you can swing with the Jit.
I still love Spell Snare, by the way, in Legacy. I
It
don't
does
think
hit a lot of stuff.
I don't think people play it enough. It's nice to have a one cost hard counter, and a lot of the really nasty stuff that you want to force, Infernal Tutor, Burning Wish, Stoneforge Mystic.
Spell Snare just hits, and it's
Yeah.
1 mana. It's not a great amount to have to leave open. Solid Pride Mage get there for 2?
Yeah,
Okay.
like often you'll look at a hand, particularly in a beats deck like Lewis, and you'll have all these spell piercers, and you just think, why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why? Counterbalance is another card that stops one card, and particularly in a matchup like Counterbalance, where you don't want to be pitching blue cards to force all the time. Sometimes it's nice just to go Spell Snare, counter, move on, you know? Yeah. Stops Cap and Happy as well.
So at the end of this, we're going to have a creature deck versus Pox. Oh, sorry, no.
Well, that's a bit doom and gloom, Jacob.
Potentially.
That's a bit doom and gloom. I mean, you know, Jim
can get there 2 and 3, I guess. I guess Countertop doesn't have a good matchup against Pox either, though.
It depends. I mean, Pox has a very low curve. Remember, it's just Lilies on 3, then everything else is 1 and 2. A lot of Pox's cards are dead. You know, Innocent Blood and things like that.
Sinkhole, him, I've seen both fine.
Yeah, they're both pretty good. But think about it. What happens if Counterbalance goes on the play?
Was that a force for the turn? Yep.
Force. What happens if Counterbalance goes on the play? They resolve their Counterbalance without meaningful interaction from the Pox player.
They still don't have the greatest variety. Like 2-drop isn't.
I mean, I'm just saying it's not a you know,
done thing.
Done thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, no one wants to play Pox just because they don't like that kind of interaction. It's just annoying to deal with. But, you know, Counterbalance can definitely get there. I mean, Counterbalance is a deck that does just get there.
Yeah, I was looking at it as Jim hasn't played anything on the first 3 turns and hasn't had a board presence. I mean, he does have turners, but Windmill Lewis had the force.
That's fine. I mean, it's still down his beat stick. Forcing there, it's weak. Like, it's got the Knight. Wouldn't you rather just let the Terminus resolve, lose the Noble Hierarch and the Quasali, play a land and cast Knight? I think sometimes people are a little too quick to pitch their counter spells.
He didn't have the third land.
When he drew the Stoneforge, did he?
Yeah. So you can Green Suns here for another Hierarch to just continue the beats to try and force damage through, and then have the Stoneforge as a backup for the next Terminus.
Yeah, that works.
But I think what he's going to do is play the Knight.
Green Suns.
Oh, no.
Stoneforge.
Green Suns was what I reckon is the ideal play here.
I reckon it's a little too aggressive.
Because a second Terminus here is bad for you.
Pretty much. I mean, you lose one of your mana sources as well, as we saw last time.
And you're stuck with a fistful of cards you can't cast. You can Green Suns in us for a Hierarch.
I mean, as we saw last time, Jim destroyed the Stoneforge and put Lewis off Batterskull for a few turns, and Jim's just going to do it again. And Lewis doesn't have the Jace follow-up now to actually really stuff with Jim.
Yeah.
So...
Well, it's a singleton Jace, so...
Oh, it's just a singleton. He's only
Whereas Jim's got the full 4.
I hate when people play singleton cards, like in a deck that...
You know, it functions off consistency?
Yeah.
I can see reasons to, like a singleton Dried Arbor, for example.
Well, that's fine, but like, because you got the GSCs to support it.
But it's only a 3 of, not a 4 of.
Again, you know, that's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. Brainstorm. Maybe he's got a Terminus in hand, trying to move to a top.
Yeah.
Still not showing us his hand. By the way.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim.
The thing was, he doesn't have to show the cover of his hand.
Well, he doesn't have to.
It's just nice.
Yeah, so we're going to crack back for a terminus here, I think.
While leaving up Counterspell Mana potentially.
Well,
In case that,
anti-daze.
Well, it also stops the Jace from having the come down with the Jace. Alright. So he's just going to pass the turn, and Jim's deciding here whether to crack the top back.
Yeah, don't crack it back. Just have a top, draw another card, keep your terminus there, develop your board position a bit
And
more.
wait to terminus for the Batterskull to be in play?
Yes, fine. Remember, like, if Jim tops here and puts another land down, he can hard. Yeah.
He's going to crack for the terminus because he just wants to keep him off everything. He didn't play a land, so that is the thing.
Yeah.
So he didn't play a land, so it
See,
is denying
he
him mana.
brainstormed with the top terminus stack.
Yeah. Because it does take him a land off, and he has the day's backup.
He might have a Jace to stick this turn as well. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to
Yeah,
terminus
Jace
there
to
if
stick
you're going
to
to stick a
Fate Seal.
Jace. Yeah.
Or he has the mana to play both counterbalance and top and leave the top spinning.
It's Jace.
It's Jace. Cool, we're fate sealing to death. Surely. Oh no,
We got
he's
a
a friend of
daze.
the brainstorm.
You said Lewis was on days.
No.
Daze.
You said he had.
Oh, in
that
case he
daze.
has
Yeah.
days.
No, he has a Green Sun's Zenith, Neither the Reliquary, Batterskull, and another card.
Yeah, well, Jim's definitely on track to take down this game. So, I mean, that was pretty nicely set up by Jim. He's obviously become pretty experienced at this deck. Good God, imagine a Blood Moon here. Ugh.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Jim has a lot of non-basics for the Blood Moons.
No, it's fine. Like Blood Moon here with the active chase is just victory anyway. Lewis is going to get a Dried Arbor as well. So
He's getting the Hierarch.
He's debating. He's having a very very considered debate here.
Yeah, we're getting the Hierarch. The advantage of the Hierarch, obviously, that it taps for double white. Oh, that wasn't. Was that set up? That was. Yeah, it was.
The chase.
Yep. Right.
Who's the king?
Alright, cool. So we're going to
So now Jim's going to just drill this game. I'm going to bounce the Hierarch, yeah. Lol.
Yeah. Lewis does have the engineered explosives in hand, but I don't think Jim has a force.
Irrelevant. I mean, like, even if Lewis casts engineered explosives here, it's just so far behind. He's never going to catch up.
Oh no, there's a Jace on 2. If he casts engineered explosives, he's fine to get through.
No, he just ends Jim's clock.
No,
but you've got to think
don't
about
cast the Hierarch. You just can get it bounced again. And it gives him an extra turn to draw a counterspell. The engineered explosives blows up the angels and saves you 8 damage now.
Mm-hmm.
It also costs you nothing to play it this turn at the very least. And you want to leave it as a surprise for after he's resolved his counterbalance.
Fair enough. It's very easy to get an engineered explosives through a counterbalance, though. Not an engineered explosives on 0, though. Whee! Back it goes.
There's the force in Jim's hand.
Yeah.
Wasteland. For 0. Oh, I think he was playing around days.
Well, maybe he was playing around force, I don't know. Jim just doesn't care, I don't think. Like, I'll probably force it here just so he can force the win. But, like, just hypothetically, in terms of the long-term game, let's say if Jim didn't have a card to pitch to force.
He just gets to brainstorm to victory?
Yeah, I don't think it makes a big difference here because he's just so far ahead.
Well, they both have fistful of cards. It's just Lewis's short length.
But Jim's the control player with the Sensei's Divining Top who's had 2 free turns. Where Lewis has dirtled around with no
and dealing click. So, whose hand are we going with? picking.
Giving Lewis a chance just
Oh
to dump
no!
his hand.
Oh yeah, there we go. Okay.
So he's got full mana now. I mean, does he take the Batterskull? What's his... I would have swords here.
The Angel.
Yeah, or the click, one of the two. No, you swords the click. You
Because-
take 8, go to 4, and then you untap and then
got the
you
engineering
activate explosives. This way you're just taking 11. I mean, like, you'd want to deal with all the threats, right?
So the click dies to Jit, was my thinking. And it's 3 life that the control player gets.
Yeah.
Whereas that's your edge, that he's on 14 life, that you have the ability to kind of get there. Stifle.
I'm surprised we didn't see any stifles. I would have expected someone to play Rug.
Tim was on. Was he with Stifles?
I didn't like Tim's build.
Where we've heard. Alright. Taking 3.
Tim didn't have stifles though.
Okay, so next turn you can equip the Jit and attack and so hit Jace. Jace will die one of 2 different ways. Or you can attempt to, like, there's always the option of swords, but you have to play to it. You equip the Jit and then try and kill both the click and the Jace in one swing.
I'm just trying to see what's in his hand. Looks like a lot of land.
Yeah, a bunch of land and force, from what I can see. So we're putting what was that?
I don't know, but it's like he gave us a concessional show, but didn't really actually put any effort into doing it properly. Hello. Hi, sweetie.
I don't think it was for us. I think he was double checking that he put them in the right order.
Yeah.
Alright.
Pack it up, go to game 3.
Because of the Batterskull?
No, it's just not coming back from here. You can play out the Knight. The Knight would be.
Did he get to keep the swords?
No, Jim clicked away the swords.
Okay, so he has the option to play Batterskull here. Finally.
Yeah.
And that then he doesn't die to bounce token.
I think the Knight's fine.
How big is it?
Big.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
About a 5/5. I think it blocks Batterskull and lives.
And play the Jit, is that the other play? So the Knight can attack next turn. It doesn't get there. Okay, second Hierarch.
Next turn.
So he has lots of ways to use his Jit.
Yeah.
It's amusing that a Terminus here wrecks Lewis but doesn't touch Jim. Like he loses a click. He still has a Batterskull.
How much is Batterskull to equip again? 5?
5. There's 3 to bounce, 5 to play.
I would have just put it on the click and swung.
8.
Yeah, why not?
That's probably right.
Lewis is on 8.
Yep.
This is just not.
Oh no, it's a +4/+4. Yep.
Oh right.
Yeah, of course. Silly us.
Yeah, 7. He doesn't have a double hierarch. Jim's deck does not play them. Still fine.
Do you play the Dalkin Shackles in the sideboard?
No.
Okay.
It's too slow.
Alright. So, can potentially still go for the...
Well,
he
could swing equip as well. No, that makes no sense.
No. Equip and swing he can still do for 7. And that takes Lewis to 1 and narrows us out significantly, especially if he bounces the Knight then.
Yeah.
Because then he has no abilities. His ability to swing back is...
Does Lewis play a maze?
No, I don't believe so.
That'd be funny if Jim goes to the swing and he hunts up a maze.
Well, Knight came into play last turn, so it's something sickness.
No, I mean next turn.
Yeah.
One deck I miss is the Maverick build as well. I think they're really sexy.
Here we go. We've got a Brainstorm. because Jim wants to be absolutely safe. He has a million counter. Is that a counterspell? Counterspell force. Okay. Counterbalance. So he just wants to have the lock. Safety. Swords tonight. Okay. This is one of those instances in which Path is better in Legacy than Swords. Block to avoid going to 1. So he can equip Jit and not do much. Surely that's game.
2 counters on the Jit kills the.
It's Batterskull, Double Noble Hierarch, and Jit in hand, from what I can tell for Lewis. Casting Batterskull.
Denied, I think.
Oh. Denied many ways. There we go.
That was a good game.
Much better play by Jim.
I'll tell you what, it's very draining watching a Stoneblade versus
Countertop
mirror. I mean,
a mirror. It's not a mirror.
Well, not mirror.
Yeah.
But, that's how drained I am. I think a banned Stoneblade deck is
That's
that
what
zoo.
when I said the creature deck earlier. Regardless, that's kind of what happened. I was talking about the smallpox playing a creature deck, and I just totally blanked the Countertop's not a creature deck because.
Yeah.
I'm going back to the
You
sideboard.
brought the library in. What is wrong with you?
He doesn't know how to board the deck. Maybe he doesn't want to bring the library. Maybe there's something he knows that we don't. I still think library is correct to bring in, but bringing in Venser
Library is in the board for this matchup.
to just outdraw them.
Yeah, it's good in against Pox too.
Yeah, it's good against Pox, but in
Not that, but you don't put board cards in your board to beat Pox. It's not the deck you know.
Although, looking at Chris Addy's Highlander list for the next league, that's something that I might actually have to do, because that just rolls over Pod.
Yeah.
Pod tends to beat everything else but this deck I'm having difficulty with. Which is amusing, because he loses to control decks constantly. And combo.
Hi guys, you're watching the top 8 of the Canberra Legacy League at Good Games in Canberra. I'm Shane, this is Jacob here with me in the commentary box.
We are watching a slow Stoneblade versus Countertop mirror.
Yeah, this is you know, when Legacy gets really exciting is when you see these kind of decks.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes me really wish that someone brought Tendrils, because
that just goes by too quick, though. That you need a nice balance.
I just want to see a man make really ballsy, gutsy plays. I mean, Jim made some good plays with stacking his top, but unfortunately, in the commentary box, we can only predict what he's doing and not actually see it.
But the Countertop versus the first one, Jim lost because he stacked his top wrong, flipped for an Entreat instead of a Terminus.
Yeah, so we're going into game 3 now, after Jim ground down the Stoneblade player in game 2. We're also looking forward to a very exciting final, which is going to either be Counterbalance or ban Stoneblade against Pox. So there'll be a lot happening.
Yeah.
But
the wins will be reasonably clear, I prediction.
The one thing with Pox is, like, once it gets the lock on, it's like...
Yeah.
You know, like, it's not like we're watching slow turns with someone stacking off a Sensei's Divining Top. So,
well, no, you can watch it that way. If Jim gets into the final and wins, like, he's going to be stacking the things as the week goes. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to be watching the Pox player
Poxing. Itchy for two, 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 itchy for two. Maybe Thoughtseize, I don't know.
Yeah.
One thing I expect to see actually Counterbalance versus Pox finals is getting Pox getting its lands terminused away. That's going to be pretty funny when he activates his factories.
Right, so I'm really actually... I was hoping today, coming into it, like the Burn vs. Pox would have been interesting, but I actually wanted to see... Morgan was the one I was hoping to see go somewhere, because his deck was interesting.
Very, very heavy control tempo top 8, actually.
Yeah,
I would have expected...
a bit more combo. Maybe another combo deck?
Yeah.
You wanted a Storm. Let's be honest.
Look, a Storm player would probably have had a bad time in this matchup. Against Morgan, against the Bears deck.
So there's no Jun, there's no Deathblade. There's a couple of the top tier decks that aren't there.
Elves and other decks have been underplayed in this meta. Fast creature based combo would have been good. Elves would have been quite powerful.
And the Death and Taxes are being wiped out.
Early, it was a shame.
Yeah.
So game 3, Lewis Opal on the left is on band and he's on the play.
And here we've got Jim Wilkes, they're both at 7 at this point. Lewis to play. If we go to the finals, it'll be the winner of this on the play regardless. Chris Eddy came in at 7th.
And how much credit are we looking at for coming first?
What is it? 280?
280?
280.
280, what's second place?
130, I think.
So that's not a bad whack.
I may be wrong. I'd have to double check the figures, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
That's not a bad hit. So it's effectively dual land each. If only you bought the dual lands at the start of the league before the price spike.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Be more organised.
No. It was more. It's because they get to choose the cards they want to win.
Fair enough.
So they can choose the things. However, if I'd known what they were going to want at the beginning of the league, that would have been great too. Sure.
Straight turn 1 drop from Lewis.
Yeah, which is surprising given he has 3 Green Suns and his 4 Noble Hierarchs. Really goes all out for that. And now we've got a Stoneforge Mystic. No spell snare from Jim. Unfortunate. He's thinking about brainstorming for the Force or to use the Force.
I definitely think if you're on a Blade deck nowadays, you want to have at least 1 or 2 spell snares. There's so many relevant things it deals with. Counter spells popping up a lot now as well.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Just going for the Battle Skull again. Has he got the Jit in hand again?
What is it? Says Jim. God, I would have loved it if it wasn't a piece of equipment. That would have been beautiful. Just quietly cheating. Sorry. You caught me though. I thought I could get away with it.
On camera, no less.
No, it's an Alex Bertoncini or something.
Yeah. So he went and got the Battle Skull, and this time he finally learned his lesson by not being able to play it for a long time.
Yeah. Finally punished.
Yeah. Does he have the Jit? Is there a reason he just doesn't want the Jit?
Bam. Not that Knight really does much here anyway, it's just a dude. Knight, I think Lewis's list is very similar to Reed Duke's list, but I just feel like Knight doesn't do much in this deck.
Yeah,
You don't have utility from it.
Having the Maze is interesting because it means you can actually get your Knight to race a Trinity Nemesis.
Yeah.
You get the Maze with the first activation, and then the second activation gets a fetch land, and you maze it at the end of combat and pump it again.
I just don't feel like if you want to build a green deck with Knight of the Reliquary, you either look at building one of the Dark Depths varieties or a Maverick build. If you want to build a Stoneblade deck, you just build a Stoneblade deck. I don't think Green and Stoneblade are particularly well paired together.
Yep.
It's just one of those weird mashups of decks that's done well in the past, but I just
you think it was like a meta choice at that point, and it's not particularly grand now.
Yeah, I don't feel like the synergies are that great because you're running things like Dazes as well. You can't run the utility lands to take advantage of Knight, so you take Knight out. Once you take Knight out, why are you running Green? You've got
Hierarch, Pride Mage,
and GSC.
When the GSC
like
is
Teague and
4.
Board, but I mean, like at that point, why don't you just play?
There are many other things you can run. Play Deathblade.
Yeah,
you can. Yeah, I started with this deck, building a deck. What are we sacking? How did we just get the Jace to... Did we see the land actually go? Okay, cool. We did see the land go. Yep, I just went and got a tropical for a tropical and I missed the land going in. My bad.
They got an early Jace. Knight being used as an underdog here.
Well, that's one of the great things about Knight. It can do that.
a very big mana dork.
Yeah.
I think the loam deck would have been cute, like the red-green loam deck today.
Red-green loam as in like lands?
Yeah, but the punishing fires would be useless, but it'd still be funny.
Interesting.
I'm not sure.
I was surprised, yeah, the red deck just, before Fire Blasts and a couple of the other things meant that it wasn't going to do well.
I think just a traditional Bug Delver list would have been fine. Hymns, Abrupt Decays. Yeah.
Well, Tim's list had both Hymns and Abrupt Decays.
It wasn't a traditional list though. I really didn't like the Nimble Mongooses, and I thought his sideboard was suboptimal.
Yeah, that we saw.
Yeah, I think you want to be rolling in on True Names or Goyfs or Tombstalkers.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. We've got a Jace. Oh, we've just put a sleeve. Okay. Just to add to the excitement.
Yeah. Oh god.
We've got a Fate Seal. It's not looking good for Jim. There's a Knight and a Jace on the table, and the Jace is coming down to Fate Seal. Lewis is making a joke about the another sleeve splitting. Okay, so here we go. After the Fate Seal, what's Jim got that he can do? What's he got in hand? Okay, a click. Here we go. Who are we targeting? Yep. Okay. So there's a Kusali Pride, Major Batterskull, Venser, Green Sun, Zenith, and Swords. He realizes that the Swords is going to hit the click next turn. So bashing the Jace isn't as relevant as it could be.
That's interesting. We've just found a keg of beer back here.
You're aware that that's fine for them to have?
Oh, I know it's fine for them to have. I'm just looking around for interesting things. I'm thinking
okay.
a keg of beer would be very nice right now.
Okay, so the click took the Swords, obviously. The Knight and a land here. What did he get off the click? Okay, so we're getting a Swords. There we go, a Knight. Okay. Another Knight. So getting a land there lets him cast the Batterskull and the Venser and all the things in his hand. But that click's going to wreck Jace. And bouncing clicks are no good. This is where the maze you were talking about would really come in handy.
Yeah. But, like, it's hard for the deck to support a maze. You know what I mean?
Well, how many lands is he playing?
He's running Brainstorm, should be 19 or 20.
What are we up? 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 19?
Dried up.
Huh?
Dried up.
Oh yeah, 19, 20. 20 and 4 Hyrox, and 3 Green Sun Zeniths.
You might be able to go down to 19, I guess, in this deck. He does want to run Jace.
Fate Sealing? No. Are we Fate Sealing? No. You're working out that you can't
Bounce
really deal... Well, you don't want to bounce a click. You can't really deal with the Jace. With the click with your hand. The Venser does
you
it,
just
but you don't
roll
want
it
to.
up, I think, here.
It's going to brainstorm for the answer. That's a Wasteland, yes?
Yeah, Wasteland and some blue cards by the look of it.
Yep. Okay, so
True
we've got
Name
Wasteland,
Nemesis,
True Name
potentially.
Nemesis. Going through the cards is keeping. Surely the Wasteland makes that cut. There we go. And so Batterskull and... No. Decision-making process baffles me.
So we've got a Force of Will in
Yeah,
there.
okay, so True Name Nemesis, a Misty Rainfrost, and a Wasteland is what he's got off the Brainstorm, which gives him the ability to cast a lot of the spells in his hand with the Knight. But it's still not going to get you to keep your Jace. And the Jace is the advantage that you're trying to press on the field. The longer Jace is alive, the more cards you have, and the less counterbalance is relevant.
Exactly.
So Fate Sealing is definitely correct. I mean, you're digging for
that's all you gotta
swords,
do.
and you don't. The number of swords that he has in his lists, I believe, was 3. No, it has the full 4. Okay, he's already used. No, sorry, that was Jim this game. He's used 1. And the other one got put on the bottom of Click, so he can get the fetch land, but he's not going to get there.
So it would have been better as well, because if he Fate Sealed and then the next turn he Brainstormed, he could have at least fetched after the Brainstorm, you know?
Yeah.
I guess it's fetching now, but
Just going for the beats. No, he's not fetching before the night for some reason.
like he can, yeah.
You're not getting another Brainstorm. So, and even if you are, the only way you're doing it is with the Venser. So in order to do that, you have to crack the fetch anyway. There's no point in not cracking the fetch right now. You've only got 1 Jace in your deck. You can draw Brainstorms, but your hand is already full of cards. There's no reason to crack the fetch when you're attacking. Okay, maybe there's... no. If Jim goes to 1 this game, that'll be on the things to ask Lewis.
He also could have saved his Jace. If he really wanted to Brainstorm, he could have held the night open and fetched Caracas. I know it's not optimal, but that was his alternate line. And so you could Brainstorm, look at the swords, then Fate Seal, then Brainstorm.
Yep.
Just held Knight back for a bit.
Just suboptimal ability, I guess. He's not presenting much pressure, but the thing that
there are a lot of ways to.
He's got to remember
that, and a single Knight is just not good enough to win against a counterbalance player. You need to
because they've got Terminus. Yeah, the advantage that Jace had was great. Even casting his Venser there to bounce his own Jace to stop the click, that would have been fine.
Yeah, I would have preferred the Caracas play. I mean, is your hand that good that you need to hide it? I mean, he's got force anyway. So if you got the Knight, pull the Caracas, bounce the click, he could have then forced back on the click.
Yeah.
When Jim tried to recast it, if he's that worried about the click.
Yeah.
So he could have gained complete control of that game from that point on with the Jace.
And fetching the Caracas would have been great with his
now
Venser.
Jim's got a Jace and a Terminus from his top. I don't know what the third card was.
I think it's a land.
So it looks like Jim's probably going to control this game out now.
And all because he didn't fetch the Caracas.
All because he didn't fetch the Caracas. Or Fate Seal with Jace. But I think I don't know. What do you think was better there? Fate Sealing?
Well, fetching the Caracas, so
immediately fetching the Caracas. I mean, a lot of Knight players like to durdle around with lands for a bit anyway, pump their Knight, and then get in for a big hit.
Okay, so fetching the Caracas had the advantage that you still get to keep him on the back foot, and next turn you have the Knight that's still in play, your Jace that's still in play, and a Venser's Caracas lock. There's an awful lot you can do from there. And the Knight's going to put you on the back foot, given that you've got a bunch more lands in the graveyard.
He's going to Venser it here, I think.
Yep. He's working out whether to force the Venser to get the extra advantage.
And I think Lewis needs to get a Caracas next turn.
So if he forces the Venser here, he then gets to bounce the Knight.
If he forces the Venser, the question is, do you force the Jace or force the Force? Because obviously he's hoping to force the Jace back on the next turn.
Yeah, so you force and he's going to force the Force instead of forcing the Jace.
So that's bad. He's going to...
I force the Jace, 100%.
Yeah, so if Lewis doesn't get the Caracas here, we know Jim's got a Terminus on top of his library. What is it? Yeah, it's on top, I think.
Potentially 2 down.
So,
but he gets to spin the top anyway.
Yeah. No, he doesn't. Doesn't he? Only got
Oh no, that was
one
in turn.
source.
Yeah. So you can crack
Um,
the top back and terminus potentially.
So Lewis really does want to get that. He's got a terminus now.
Okay.
He gets the Caracas now. I think though you got to get the Caracas now. You might as well, mate.
Yeah, you go get the Caracas and you bounce the Venser to keep up the lock, and your Vandalian Click goes away.
I suspect. I personally think that was a mistake from Jim. I would have waited until I had. He's not getting the Caracas.
Yeah. Is he the list that's playing 2 or 3 Caracas between main and board?
No, just the one.
Yeah, just the one.
I would have, if I was Jim, I would have waited for an opportunity where like Lewis activated the Knight and then Terminus, because she didn't want him to get the Caracas. But clearly, Jim's a very powerful wizard, so it doesn't actually matter.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have actually stopped the Terminus there. Caracas.
Oh, bounce it. Yeah. Oh, but no, that's bad because then you get to do it on the next turn. I would have just let the Knight go away and kept the Caracas Venser up.
Yeah.
And then played the Knight out on the next turn, and then
I'm just saying, he's like, I've got a Caracas in my deck, but that's only for Reanimator. Should have been a deck someone should have played today. Could you imagine that? Whoa.
Actually, yes. Oh no, he hadn't played the land yet. That's where it went from.
Now that would have been a spice.
No, wait. Yeah, surely he could have gone. Yeah, Caracas Venser and Wasteland to keep him off the mana for the Terminus, and then get him.
Because you float when you float off the Savannah or the Tundra when you get the Caracas. So you 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Venser. And the Caracas, and then you Wasteland. You wouldn't get the Terminus.
And he's stuck on 4 mana, and you've then got the Caracas and the Venser to go to continue with while putting pressure with the Knight.
Yeah.
We've turned the whole game around. I mean, he's already in a good position, but it's not as good as it could have been.
And that's the thing with these control-ish matchups in
Jace is
Legacy. You've got to make the right plays at the right time. Now, Jim misplayed as well. He shouldn't have Terminus. He should have actually waited for Lewis to tap his Knight.
Yep.
Because any other player would have tapped the Knight and got the Caracas, right?
Yep.
But you've got to take your opportunities when they come. Otherwise, you're going to get
Here, Lewis just played correctly by cracking the
Dryad
Arbor to kill the Jace.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is the same play that lost him the game last time, and I'm not sure whether Jim deliberately just needed to bounce the Knight. Or...
I think Jim's next leveling him. I rate Jim too highly. Look, Jim's made misplays as well, but when the games are this long, you just can't expect optimum play.
Well,
it's very easy for us to sit here and criticize people when we've got nothing at stake. It's just the severe misplays, like, you've got a Caracas in your deck, which you feel
I think that might be lack of experience, but as you were saying, he played it throughout the entire league, so... Here's replaying the Knight. Jim's got the... Are you spinning the top? Do you know what's there?
I feel like we've got an entreat coming.
Okay, so Stoneforge Mystic, Brainstorm Fetchland. No, Jace. That's another Jace.
That's why he didn't care about the Dryad Arbor bashing into the Jace.
Did he know he had the second Jace there?
Even if he didn't know, he knew.
Even if he didn't know, he knew. Yeah, that's the Jim Wilkes experience.
Yeah, that is the Jim Wilkes experience.
Copyright Incorporated.
Oh, I still can't get over that Caracas play. It's broken my heart, really.
Well, we've seen a number of misplays today.
Really critical misplays as well.
Yeah.
And
some not so bad.
The interesting
have you seen
thing
anyone
here
who's
is,
had really solid plays?
What does Jim do here?
Did anyone have really solid plays throughout?
Again. Chris Addies hasn't done anything wrong, I don't think.
The Mistress Factory, but that was little.
Yeah.
But then again, Pox is...
Yeah, it's pretty linear.
Yeah. Alright, are we hitting the Terminus? Spin the top. This time it's less relevant because I don't know what he has in hand. We don't know he has the Terminus. Does he have cards in hand? Stoneforge Mystic. I think he's digging for the brainstorm because I think he has the other terminus in hand.
Yeah.
And last turn he was trying to decide whether or not to top because if he drew the land, he could hardcast the terminus.
No, if he had the terminus in hand, mate, he would have brainstormed with the Jace. Oh, wait, Jace is huge now. Knight's huge now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It might be lethal. Definitely. It's 3+. Lewis would have 6 lands in his bin.
No. He's got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a fetch line? Okay, yeah.
So he's going to send the Stoneforge under the bus here, under the Knight, and then...
Batterskull. And if Lewis has got anything, then the game's over, though.
Yeah. Well, Jim's got Force. Well, I wonder if he boarded out his counterbalances here. I mean, we haven't seen much, have we? Game 3 board out the counterbalances. Doesn't seem terrible. Doesn't seem terrible in this matchup.
We'll just check Jim's list.
He's playing 3 counterbalances.
He's playing 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing the 3. He's playing 2 counterspells.
Under the bus here, mate.
So he does have the terminus in hand, from what I can tell.
Yeah, so he's going to top here.
Looking for the brainstorm. And we have, again, the famous Batterskull stuck in hand from Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah, how much better would a Jit have been? That's not very good at all.
Does he have a fetch?
I think one of those is a fetch land. That's the one that he's put on top. Maybe? No? Okay, we'll find out when he draws it. If we draw on and play, fetch, crack, fetch. Oh dear. Batterskull. Okay, here we go. Hardcast Force. That looks like game.
That's game.
I think. Is it enough?
Yeah, he needs 6 in the bin. That'd be the 6th.
Yeah, there we go. The double terminus in hand. Just need the brainstorm.
Alright. Alright, do you want to have a chat to Jim?
I'll have a chat to Jim.
You can talk to him about Lewis's misplay.
Yeah.
Just sit down here for a sec. We'll cut to a quick review and then Jim can come by. We're just gonna have a quick pause, guys. We'll pull out.
Lewis actually has the is supposed to be heading off at 6. He's taken a long time, so we're having a quick pause.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay. Yep. And we're back.
And we're back.
Getting Jim in the box.
Okay. That was far too close. Join me, Jim.
Hello. How you doing?
How are you feeling about that?
Pretty, not amazing. So first game was it was a lot of off-camera stuff happened.
Yeah. So we can see that we Shane did pull up and totally predict put the Council's Judgment on top, so that he would fate sail away into the entry.
This is game 1.
Yeah, game 1.
I didn't have Council's Judgment at all.
That wasn't Council's Judgment that he put away? That you put the Council's Judgment on top and he fate sealed it away and then you entreated?
I never saw Council's Judgment at all.
Okay, alright.
Oh no, I put the top on top. He fate sealed, put it away so I could get my angels underneath it.
Okay, right, okay. So it was the top. I thought it was the Council's Judgment, and we were calling it as a sick play that because the Council's Judgment, he either left it there, you got to Council's Judgment and then entreat, or you got to...
It was, he was really aggressively thinking top was really strong about counterbalance. So I was like, that's fine, hopefully it was just +2, because he had +2.
So we thought it was Council's Judgment.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which still would have been a great play anyway. And then into the entreat. The one thing we weren't sure about is why you entreated for 2 and not 3.
He has days in his deck.
Okay.
I wanted to play around days and not just get completely blown out because everything was hinging on that thing resolving.
Yep. Okay.
And yeah, I just didn't want to get dazed.
You just didn't want to get dazed.
Because it was game 1 as well. Like I don't know how many days he runs at all, but
So, and the last game there.
Oh yeah, that was.
There was things, but and obviously like game 1 you lost because you cracked.
Okay, no. So game 1, what actually happened was I missed a land drop.
Yeah.
Because the judge was talking to me across the table, and I completely lost concentration. And going back to the game, I was like, yeah, sure, go.
Yeah.
There was a crucial turn where I needed Terminus. I had it in hand. I brainstormed. I was like, sick. I'll set this up. And then I put the 2 cards back. And I put the wrong cards back. I didn't it wasn't a mental thing. It was just physically I put the wrong cards back on top.
Yep.
I picked a card back up on my table in my hand and was like, "This is a terminus.
Right.
This is not the right card."
Right. Okay.
And the cards are on top of my deck. I couldn't go, "Judge, my plan was to do this. Please fix this for me."
Yeah, I did it bad.
So,
The other one was we noticed that Lewis, game 3, he had the ability to. You went Terminus.
Yep.
He had the ability to crack his land with the Knight, go get Caracas, wasteland you, Caracas his Venser the Terminus.
That would have been sick.
It would have been, and it would have been the end of the game for you. So we were thinking you should have waited to Terminus until he until he tapped his Knight. Because anyone else potentially would have done that, and it would have locked the game.
Yeah.
We worked out it was just over from that point.
I actually forgot to change my brainstorm notes as well.
Right.
My hand notes.
Yeah.
Because he brainstormed with Jace at one point.
Yeah.
And I didn't cross off the Quatzali Pride Mage, the Battle Skull, and the not Benzer, something else.
Yeah.
So I thought he had those 3 exactly in hand. I was like, look, I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah.
Rather than let you draw a counter spell. So that was why I forced myself to do an upkeep rather than playing around the sick Caracas play.
Yeah.
So
no, just getting the Caracas. There were multiple points where getting the Caracas just won in the game, and he could have done it at any point, and he just went, "Nah, look, we'll have a fair game."
Yeah. Caracas isn't that good a card, is it? Right?
Yeah, and we were watching him constantly play the turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic, go get the Battle Skull, and wait for you to punish him with a Swords of Ashes like he finally did in game 3. And it was just all
I was trying to dig for that. I wanted to find a turn to set up Jace Brainstorm Terminus on top. Because I had the double Terminus, it was really awkward in my hand.
Yeah.
I misplayed because I was playing the fact that I had I had 5 lands in play and I was going to get the 6th one.
Yeah.
But he had a Wasteland.
Yeah.
Which completely ruined my my day.
Yeah.
So that wasn't really a thing. There was a chance where I could have taken a hit from Knight and he could only pump it to 8.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to risk him just ripping a fetch land or a wasteland or something like that. When I bounced with the Jace the first time in game 3.
Okay. So actually, Lewis is pressed for time.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, and so they're currently in the middle of mulligans, I believe.
Okay.
So we might actually just cut to them because I know Lewis has to be somewhere. I really didn't think he was going to get there. I called him the wild card a bunch of times.
I feel like game 1, if I didn't put the wrong card on deck, top of deck, he would have lost his board and then
the game would have been over.
Game over.
Yeah, we noticed you had the double Terminus in hand. We're digging for the Brainstorm in game 3.
Game 3 should not have. Yeah.
Yeah, there were a bunch of things.
It was unfortunate.
Yeah. So you did entreat when you looked at your hand because you cracked the top